type in how to draw a into a search engine, and the first thing that pops up will be rose. Get it right, and it's going to look amazing. Hello, it's Jules here bringing you another drawing video. And this week it's how to draw a rose. This will be a sped up version, but if you want to see Draw a Rose 3 ways, which is real time and all my thought processes that go into it, then head on over to my website or Patreon. All the links will be below in the description. Everything I have used will also be in the description box below. So if you like drawing and you find this video groove-tastic, then make sure you give it a like and subscribe and ding the bell next to it for all of my uploads, which come out every single Friday. I bought some roses so I could draw from life on this occasion. So I've done my drawing on some marker paper, and then I'm just erasing most of the lines so that they don't show through when I've actually put the colours down. And I whipped out my 3 brush pens, and they are in a light, medium and dark tone to render my first layer. I had this rose here, the one that's in the front, and I started there with the lightest tones and then the mid-tone and the dark tone, and just blending those in together. So I started with looking for the highlighted areas first, where the light was shining through the petals, and to make that a bit easier to see, sometimes if you squint your eyes, so close them quite a bit, then it's easier to see those light and dark areas. And then, having started with those first 2 petals, I then went into the middle, because in the middle area you can see very clearly where the dark areas are, because there are a lot more contrasts in that middle area because of the darkness that's in there. And I just went round the rose petal by petal, just repeating that process of light, medium, dark. Some of the petals roll back on themselves, and the tones just give that visual clue of the shape of the petal. By the way, when I stop and point, I'm explaining something. So if you want to see the full tutorial, you'll be able to hear what I'm saying in real time. Not like a little squeaky mouse, like that really sped up, just normal me. The Tombow pens, the ones that I'm using here, are really good at blending, and you also, if you buy a set, you get a magic blending brush. Well, I call it magic anyway, and it just has some alcohol or something in it. There's no colour to it, and it just blends the tones really well. But I find if you do it quite quickly and you don't let the colours dry out too much, blending is actually really easy. And also, if you want to use something that's a little bit more cost effective, you can use the Crayola Supertips. They're quite good as well. And the pencils I'm using, you can either use water soluble pencils, which is what I've got here, or you can just use normal colouring pencils, because we're not actually going to be putting any water or solvent or anything on this to blend them. We're going to be burnishing, which means really just putting lots and lots of layers of the colour down on top of one another to blend those colours in. So you can see that I've started with the highlights, that's the white pencil. Don't worry that it looks a bit sort of scratchy at the moment, because once we've put other colours over the top, then that will definitely blend in much more nicely. And I've also used in there the black. I've looked in between, down in the depths of those petals, and that's where the dark areas are. And then, using the same sort of method as I did with the pens, I've got 3 tones of red. I've got the light tone, which I've just used, the medium, and then the dark one. I'm burnishing that black with the darker tone of red so that it appears to be a dark red rather than more like a black. You can spend a lot of time doing this. Take your time over it, because the more colour you put down on the paper, the better it will look. And that doesn't mean to say that you have to press really hard. It's about building up the layers of colour. That's how you're going to get that realistic appearance. And just going back in, keep looking at your reference, whether that's a real life flower or whether it's a photograph. Just keep going back, looking at individual little tiny spaces and areas to see what it looks like. Don't take in the whole flower in one go. if you're doing this sort of realistic drawing, you want to zoom in on a point and see what your eye picks up and makes of it. And when you're doing these final bits of area, the white areas will pick up almost like the veins and the patterns within those individual petals. So make sure that when you're drawing your shapes, that they go in the direction that the petal moves in. And just keep on building up and building up these different tones and values and colours until you've got what you think is the right amount of pigment and blending. Then you just repeat the same process with the stem and the leaf if you want to draw one. And you'll see with these ones I've got 2 Tombow pens, and I've got a Crayola Supertips as well in that dark sagey colour. This just goes to prove that they do work quite well together. In my collection of colouring pencils, I've got more green than anything else, and I think that just goes to prove the point that green is my favourite colour. Just carrying on doing the same process as you did with the petals in terms of the leaf, building up those different tonal values and seeing where the light is hitting it and where the dark is. On this occasion, the light for me is coming in from the left hand side, so the right hand side of everything is going to be picking up those darker shadows. And there you have it, a finished piece.
If you'd like further artist tutorials, I have a variety of short courses that will help you. There are real-time sessions looking at painting, drawing and marker pens, among others. And if you're keen on producing your own book, there is a more in-depth course on what you need to know about self-publishing a book with illustrations. And that covers making key decisions, how to make layouts and dummy books, rhythm and pacing, as well as several tutorials on illustrating your book, and a look at the tech. You can either hop over to my website or join me on Patreon for more information. Go on, give it a go!
You can use this for a piece of artwork on your wall, or maybe a greeting card for somebody special, or you could even draw some, print them out and sell them. You might become a real pro at painting and drawing flowers, so make sure you remember me when you're rich and famous. Next week it's publishing. If you're making a book or a story and you're thinking of self-publishing, you might ask yourself, why would I need a proofreader? I'm off to peel a banana to see what's inside. I will see you next time. Nanu nanu.